morning. My name is Laura Namnoon. I teach Pilates on Wednesday afternoons. So a lot of you probably don't know me. I only teach one class a week, and I think it's the only Pilates class. So I wanted to do a mat class for you, a basic Pilates mat class that even if you haven't done my class and have done Pilates before, you will recognize what we're doing because it's a very traditional format. I might skip a few things to keep things flowing and to keep things basic. Since I can't see you, you can't really see me very well. So let's get started. We're going to start lying on our backs. Hopefully you can see me okay. The glare out the window, this is really my only option. So we're going to start on our backs with our knees bent and our feet flat on the floor or on your mat. This is my reformer, just set up in a mat format right now. So that's why I'm not on the floor. So arms are long by your side. We have a little space between our lower back and the mat, okay? So this is what we call neutral spine. So you have that little space, our arms are long by our side. We're gonna exhale, we're gonna draw our belly button in, but we're not gonna change the position of our back. Okay, we're still in that neutral spine. Your arms are long, our core is engaged, and we're gonna now take an exhale and rock to what we call imprint position, which means a little pelvic tilt as we tuck our tailbone, draw the belly button in, and now this is our imprint. And now we're gonna rock back to neutral. We're gonna exhale to imprint, inhale to neutral, exhale to imprint. Just kind of a few more times here, feeling the difference between your neutral spine and your imprint. And then we're going to allow that imprint to roll us up to a bridge. So here we go. We imprint the spine and we start to roll up one vertebrae at a time up to your bridge. So now our hips are lifted and they're even. So hopefully mine are even. You'll be able to tell better than I can. My belly button's still drawn in and my hamstrings and my glutes are working to hold this position. And we're going to exhale and we're going to melt back down one vertebrae at a time, all the way back down to your mat. And again, we're going to exhale, scoop in the belly and roll up to your bridge. And then we're going to melt back down. We'll do one more just like that. Exhale, roll up. And melt back down. And then we're going to take a little hug for the knees. So this class will be hopefully about 30 minutes. And we're going to keep things moving. So when I teach a class, it usually has a good flow to it, one thing into the next. So keep that in mind. And if you need a rest, you take a rest. And this is a great resting position. Okay? I'm going to now bring those knees up to tabletop, meaning the knees are right over the hips and they're about at 90 degrees. Okay, my belly button's drawn in. We're going to take some simple toe taps. Tap, lift, tap, lift. Inhale, exhale. So what we're doing is we're opening the angle at the hip, right? So we're not just dropping the heel to your butt because that's not doing anything for you. So we tap, we lift, tap. So we're engaging the core so that our back is not going to rock. Right? We need to stay stable. Now we're going to take it into a bicycle leg. So one goes out and the other goes out. If you're not quite ready for this, then stay with the toe taps. We always have options to make things more challenging or to make things slightly easier, depending on where you are. 3 and 2 and 1. Knees come back to tabletop. We're going to take our arms up to the ceiling. Draw that belly button in. We're going to exhale, lift, inhale, lower. We'll go 3 and 2. Now up and hold. Reach those arms long for me. Fingertips are closed. Energy's coming out of those fingers. And we're going to pump the arms. We inhale for 5 and we exhale for 5. Keep this going with the arms. If this is too challenging to have the legs up, you take the feet down. If it's not challenging enough, you're going to extend those legs long, and you're going to turn out to what we call our Pilates V, meaning we're externally rotated at the hips and our heels are hugging together. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whole body goes long. Arms go above the head, legs go long on the mat. Belly button drawn in into our roll-ups. The arms come up with an inhale. Exhale, up off the mat, over to the toes. Scoop in the belly and control yourself back down. If this is a little bit too challenging with those straight legs, slightly bend the knees and use behind the thighs to help you get up. Or if that's not happening, you can keep it at a crunch with nice long legs. Okay, drawing the belly button in. But if those roll-ups are going pretty well, I want you to keep the legs zipped together and flex your feet. That little change will give you a little bit more challenge. So when you come to the top of that roll-up, don't let everything disengage here. Okay, keep it drawn in. And roll it back down. We'll go 2 more. Last one here. And finishing on your back. Adjust however you need to. You usually gotta pull your pants back up. And we're gonna pull one knee into our chest, okay? Doesn't matter which one you wanna start with, we will do them both. So just a nice gentle pull in. And from here, we're going to extend the legs straight up to the ceiling. Go ahead and take the head and shoulders up and give a gentle pull here for a hamstring stretch if that feels good for you. You can even take a slight bend in that knee if having the legs straight is just too much. Breathe into that. And while you're here, take a look down at the leg that's long on the mat. Make sure it's coming right out from the hip and not floating out to the edge of the mat. Keep the leg up, take your head and shoulders down, arms are long by your side, belly button drawn in, legs circles. The leg slightly crosses our center line. We circle around and up. Inhale and exhale. One more in this direction and then we will reverse. So we go out to the side slightly, circle around and up. So our leg circles are about our core stability, okay? Not so much about the hamstrings or the hips. It's about keeping your stabilization as that leg is circling. One more. Finish up high in the center and flex the foot. Press through that heel. Slowly lower the leg straight down. 3, 2, 1. Other knee pulls into your chest. So leg circles can be done small or large. And because I can't see you, I'd like you to keep them small and focus on your core stability. The bigger we get that circle, the more unstable our hips become. And that's not a bad thing if you can control it. And you've been doing this for a while. Take that leg up for that hamstring stretch. Take a glance down at the leg that's long. Make sure it's right out from that hip. Breathe into that stretch. You will always have one side that feels better than the other. This is not my favorite side. Keep the leg up. Take your arms long by your side. Belly button drawn in, hips are even. Legs slightly crosses your center line. Circle around and up. Inhale and exhale. One more. Reverse the circle. It goes slightly out to the side, circle around and up. flex that foot. Slowly lower the leg straight down. 3, 2, 1. Pulling both knees into your chest. Rock yourself up to a seated position for rolling like a ball. Hands down by your ankles, hugged in close. Take a little tilt back so you're balancing, okay? Heels are hugged in. Don't let them fly away, okay? Shoulders are down. Scoop through the belly so you're creating a C curve through your spine and your gaze goes towards your belly button. We inhale, we rock back to our shoulders. We exhale, rock up to a balance. Inhale, exhale. So it's all about control here. We don't want to let our bodies just totally lose control. Scoop in that belly and lift. I want one more. I had to fight for that last one. All right, from here, both hands come onto your knees and control yourself down to a little ball. So you want to be about at your shoulder blades here. So head is not down. We're going into the ab series here. 2 hands go onto your right knee as your left leg goes long. And we exhale, switch. So I really want you to focus on extending that leg long away from center. Don't just half reach it and go through this sloppy motion, right? Reach it long. Pilates is about lengthening and strengthening. Not to mention that's going to overwork our precious little hip flexors that already like to overwork. And now both knees hug in. Legs go long, arms go above the head. Pull it back in. Inhale, exhale. So I'm keeping my head and shoulders up in this fixed position for the whole entire ab series. Okay, but if you need to put your head and shoulders down and join them back in when you can, do what you need to do. If our back is lifting up off the mat, your legs are too low, bring them higher. 2 more. Both legs straight up to the ceiling. 2 hands behind the right leg, the left leg lowers down towards the floor, and we exhale, switch. So traditionally, if you're familiar with this, you would normally have a nice double pull on that leg that's coming towards you. Feel free if that's what you like to do. Otherwise, a nice long pull is nice as well. 1 more each side. Now both legs up to the ceiling. Hands come behind your head. Turn your legs to your Pilates V. I mentioned this earlier when we were doing the 100. Belly button drawn in and we're externally rotated at the hips. Heels are hugging together and we're going to lower the legs only about 6 inches for a count of 3, 2, 1, lift. 3, 2, 1, lift. If your legs are going far and your belly button's popping up and your back is lifted, that's not your range, okay? 2 more. Knees to tabletop, and this series will finish with our crisscross. Again, stretch that leg long. We're not doing these half nonsense things. Stretch it long and twist. And you're going to notice if you slow it down, that's going to be a heck of a lot harder than speeding it up. We'll do 3 and 2 and 1. We'll come back to center, hug the knees, rest the head and shoulders. I'm going to have you rock yourself up to a seated position. And you're going to take your legs long in front of you, about mat's distance apart. So, your feet are going to be flexed. Now, when you're sitting in this position, if you can't sit with a flat back and straight legs, you need to bend them a little bit. Or if you have like a yoga mat, an extra yoga mat, I should say, sit on it. What that's going to do, it's going to open that angle a little bit at the hip so you're not quite as crunched there. And it's going to allow the hamstrings to relax a little, okay, because they're not quite as stretched. And that props your bottom up a little bit enough to maybe take some of that pressure off if you're feeling that pull through the lower back. If that is you and you hate being in this position, all the more reason you need to be doing it, right? And nobody at home is going to tell you you need to do it, so you got to use your own willpower here. So legs are long in front of you. Arms are going to be shoulder height, shoulder width. Keep the shoulders down. Nice long spine. We're going to go spine stretch forward. So you're going to grow taller up to the ceiling. We're going to scoop in the belly, your head, your shoulders, your upper back. A nice stretch like you're going up over a beach ball. And then we're going to stack the spine back up. So we're not hinging forward, okay? We're growing taller. We're scooping in the belly. We're going up over that beach ball. And we're stacking the spine back up to our starting position. We've got one more. And stacking that spine. Good. Take the hands down. I want a nice side stretch up and over. And actually, I'm going to turn towards you so you can see this, pretending my legs are straight out. I want a nice soft elbow. So we're not here, okay? This is not a thing, jamming your shoulder into your ear. A nice long side stretch. Up and over to the other side. Nice long side stretch. Soft elbow. Not jamming it up to our shoulder. This should feel pretty nice. And bring it up. Okay, I'm going to have everybody lie back onto your back. Feet are flat on the mat. Adjust whatever you need to adjust, okay? Arms are long by your side. I want your heels fairly close to your butt. Not so close that you can't even move your body, but close. And I want your heels lined up with your sits bones, that bony part of your bum, right? So I don't want the outside of your hip. I want the sits bones right lined up with those heels. Arms are long by your side. I'm just going to take my ponytail out because I don't like the way that feels when I bridge. So belly button drawn in. Exhale, we lift to that bridge and hold. You can adjust whatever you need to adjust, right? Hamstrings, glutes. This is our main focus here. But also the hips need to be even and the core needs to be engaged. Otherwise, what are we doing in Pilates, right? So, get comfy here, my friends. Hamstrings, glutes. We're going to work into some one-legged movement here. And if that is not happening for you, keep both feet down. Okay? That right leg reaches up to the ceiling. And if you need to keep it slightly bent, do whatever you need to do. I want those hips even. And we're going to lower that leg down and up. Down and up. One more. That foot comes down, other leg comes up. We lower down and up. So our main focus here is that stable leg. Leg comes down, other leg goes up. If you feel you can, we flex as that leg goes down, point as it comes up. Flex. That leg comes down, other leg goes up. Flex and point. Last one. Foot comes down, keep that bridge. So you noticed as you took to one leg, how much more you needed to stabilize and work the hamstrings and the glutes of that supporting leg, okay? So we're gonna now bring that right leg up to tabletop, and we're just gonna hold. No movement here. Think about the hips staying even and that left leg working. 3, 2, 1. Leg comes down, other leg comes up. Just a tabletop, nothing fancy. Hold and breathe. 3, 2, 1. Foot comes down. Lower the hips. Hug the knees. Let's take both legs straight up to the ceiling. And when I say straight, whatever your straight is, that might not be straight. This might be your straight, okay? Work within your range. Arms are long by your side. Belly button's drawn in, and I've said it a million times already, and I'm gonna keep on saying it. Keep it drawn in. We're going into a reverse crunch here. Take your arms long by your side and do a gentle press into the floor, into the mat. And we're going to inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Two more. Hug the knees. Now the reason I have the inhale and the lift is because I find that resisting gravity back down is harder than getting yourself back up. Because we can get up and plop, right? But we're not trying to plop. We're trying to control our way down. But if you find that the exhale and the lift supports you better, then you do that, as long as you're not holding your breath. Legs come back up to the ceiling, arms long by your side. Legs are zipped together, and we're making a small circle to the right, and a small circle to the left. Inhale and exhale. One more. Hug the knees. Now what we're going to do is we're going to combine those two exercises. That one was called the corkscrew, kind of the modified corkscrew. So now we're going to go into the full corkscrew. If this is not right for you in your body today, then I want you to choose just the reverse crunch or just the modified corkscrew. Don't go trying something fancy that you know your body is not ready for, okay? We don't need any hospital trips right now. So legs come up, arms are long by your side. We're going to start with that reverse crunch, and then we lower down and we circle those legs, and we lift, and we lower down, circle the legs, and we lift, lower down, one more, and hug the knees. All right, we're going to come to our side lying work here. Let me check my time. 23 minutes. All right, hopefully you're hanging in with me pretty well. We're going to do some side leg work. Then we're going to work into some prone work, meaning lying on our stomach to work our lower back, and then some plank work to finish off, okay? So we're lying on our side. And now you can rest your head in your hands, or if you have any shoulder issues, back issues, neck issues, I want to highly recommend you take your arm long and let your head rest on your arm, okay? It just kind of gets your spine lined up a little bit nicer than if we're here. I'm going to keep my head here so I can kind of see what's going on the screen. So legs can come slightly in front of you, like to the front edge of your mat. Or for an extra challenge, keep them long, right long by your side here, okay? Belly button drawn in, top hand can just go down right on the floor in front of your chest. Lift that top leg, and I want you to flex the foot. Pull those toes back, belly button drawn in, and little lifts. So the reason I have you flex the foot and press through the heel is because as we do, it helps to activate through the back of the leg. So primarily we're doing abductors here, okay, our outer thighs, but hamstrings and the glutes should be involved as well. And as we flex that foot and press through the heel, it helps us to engage through the back of our body. 3, 2, 1. I want you to point the foot and we're going to make some small circles. Circle forward. So as we're lying in this position, I want you to think about your core still working. 3, 2, 1, reverse. So if your core is not engaged, you're going to find yourself wobbly front to back. 3, 2, 1, rest the leg for a moment. Now there are some Pilates teachers that do like marathon side leg work. I am not going to be one of those. I promise you. Maybe because it's not my favorite series of exercises, but we're going to keep the leg about hips distance here and the legs coming forward and the legs going back. Just slightly past neutral, slightly into that hyperextension back. Forward and back. Now, every Pilates teacher will be a little bit different, obviously. We're all different as we teach our classes. But this is fairly traditional Joseph Pilates-based sequence of exercises. 1 more. And rest that leg. So now you can, if you want, just flip right over. You don't have to be able to see me as we're just going to repeat on the other side what you just did. I'm going to flip around so you're not looking at the back of my body. So legs are long, belly button drawn in, lift that top leg, flex the foot. Little lifts up. Again, really pressing through that heel. We'll go 3, 2, 1. I want you to point the foot, we circle. Engage that core. And reverse. You might find a little bit more fluid on one side versus the other. That's very normal. 3, 2, 1. Rest the leg for a moment. Excuse me. Lift that top leg and we're bringing it forward and we're bringing it slightly behind us. Two more. Last one. And rest. From here, I want you to lie onto your stomach. I don't care which way you're facing. You're going to lie on your stomach, and you're going to make a pillow for your forehead with your hands. So the reason I want your forehead on your hands rather than your chin is that it gets your head in line with your spine, okay? So now I'm not going to keep my head down the whole time because then you probably won't be able to hear me, okay? But I'm going to show you what we're doing here. Legs are heavy into your mat. Your hips are evenly pressed down. Relax through your glutes, through your lower back, through your hamstrings. So this is what we call our posterior chain of muscles, right? Our hamstrings, our glutes, and our lower back that all work together. So our forehead is on our hands. Our legs are long. And we're going to inhale as we lift the chest. Arms will go with you. Exhale as we lower. Inhale as we lift. Exhale as we lower. So as we're moving through this, I want you to keep your belly button drawn in. So resist the urge to push your belly into the mat. Okay, keep going. If you push your belly into the mat, sure, you can get higher. But we're drawing the belly button in and we're working naturally through the back of that body. 2 more. Last one. take a moment to sit back to a child's pose here. Stretching the lower back. It's not often that we move into that hyperextension through the lower spine. So with that in mind, we like to take some extra rest. It's not an area of the body that you're going to work for endurance, really. You're not going to do 100 of those in a row. You're going to stay nice and controlled and focus on what you're doing. So now we're going to come back into that position. If you have lower back trouble or issues or problems or injuries, I need you to stay with your hands here. If you don't have any injuries or trouble, you're going to extend your arms overhead. And I'm kind of out of the picture at this point, but you guys get the idea. Your arms are extended overhead. And we're going to do the same movement pattern. We're going to inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. So keep going. So whenever we take our arms overhead, it increases the load of work on our lower back. And those of you that have been in class with me have heard me say this a million times. Whether you're sitting, lying, standing, kneeling, whatever you're doing, if your arms are overhead, you've increased that load of work on the lower back. So if you have injuries, that might be a little bit too much for you. One more. And back into that child's pose. So please keep that in mind, especially as you're working out at home. Okay, we don't need anybody throwing their back out. It's not about how high you can lift yourself up off the floor. It's about staying in control and working those muscles properly. And we're going to come up to all fours here. We're almost finished here, my friends. Adjust however you need to. Wrists are under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. Okay, so we're going to start with a little stretch here. Rounding the spine, your gaze goes towards your belly button. Arching the spine, gaze goes up. And one more, exhale. And inhale. We're going to come back to our neutral spine here. We talked about neutral spine at the very beginning. So you can probably see I have a little bit of a dip in my lower back, and that's a natural spine for me. This would not be a natural spine for me. Okay, so neutral, whatever that neutral is for you. I'm going to need to move up a little bit. We're going into our plank. So your arms are long, right underneath your shoulders. Take one foot back, your toes are ready to stand on them, so they're flexed. Other foot back to meet it, here's your plank. Holding, breathing. Nice and strong. If you need to be on your elbows for your plank, you go right ahead. Okay, otherwise you'll generally find in Pilates, we take a fully extended arm, and we'll hold 3, 2, 1. Knees come down, back to your child's pose. I'm not all about marathon planks. If that's what you love to do, I'm not going to stop you. But in Pilates, generally I like to keep things moving along. So we're coming back up to our plank. Find your plank and hold. So now I like to keep my legs zipped together. It's a little extra challenge. If you need more stability, separate your feet a little bit. Okay? Holding, breathing. 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees. Sit back. If you need to roll your wrists out, go ahead. We're going to come back up to our plank. We're going to finish this off with our Pilates push-ups. Now, I'm going to be cut out of my video a little bit here as I stand up, but you'll get the idea. So from here, your bottom comes up like you're doing a downward dog, right? Up into like a triangle position, and walk your hands back to your feet. If you need to bend your knees slightly, that's okay. And you're going to slightly bend your knees and scoop in your belly and roll it up. Okay, so now I'm only half in the picture, but that's okay because you're not going to necessarily need to see what I'm doing up here. I reach my arms up to the ceiling and I roll down to a hamstring stretch. Enjoy that for a moment. Don't let go of that stretch right away. We're into that. We're breathing. And we walk out to our plank. Nice and controlled. From here, we add a push-up. And we walk back in. And we roll it up. So this is is our Pilates push-up here. We roll it down. We walk it out. And now my stance here in the push-up is a little bit more narrow than I would be used to. So I just have to adjust accordingly. And roll it up. And we'll go one more. Roll it down. Those of you that take class with me know that I like to add on to those push-ups and do 1, 2, 3. But since a lot of people who have never taken my class before might be joining, we'll keep it to 1. And up. All right, let me have you all come to a high kneeling position. To finish off, I want to do a nice hip flexor stretch. So your hip flexor is right here, right? It's the muscle that flexes the hip. Fancy, schmancy, I know. So we're going to stretch that out because in a lot of Pilates exercises, take one foot in front of you, a little bit further out than 90 degrees. Then you're going to shift that body weight forward to open up this hip, okay? So a lot of Pilates exercises deal with spinal flexion, forward bending, a lot of legs in the air. And sometimes when our core is not strong enough to do all the work for us, our hip flexors say, hey, hello, I'm going to do the work too. And they kick in and they overwork, and we can get back pain sometimes. We can get hip pain, glute pain, and sometimes it's just all revolving around that pesky hip flexor that tried to kick in when we didn't want it to. So keep that in mind. Pay attention to your body when we do these exercises. And don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have questions. That's what I'm here for. So we shift our body weight forward, opening up that hip. And breathe. Now in Pilates, generally I don't do a whole stretching sequence at the end because really that entire workout was one big stretch, okay? So keep that in mind. If you feel that you want to do some extra stretches right now, go for it. Hamstring stretch, inner thigh stretch with the legs apart, anything like that should feel really good right now. So thank you for joining me. Hopefully I'll be able to upload this, and I will see you all again soon.